Quick sneak peek of the upcoming light Wrangler update. The first is the new UI, which you can toggle with the Q button. Now you can see the values of the corresponding parameter right within the viewport. So when we're changing distance, for example, you now can see the actual distance. Changing scale gives us scale value right here, and so on. We also have new visualization for the orbiting mode, which I hope a little bit more descriptive and useful. We can now rotate the light using Z plus mouse wheel. Not mouse, it's a mouse wheel. Okay, something like that. Yeah, you see my newborn kid is screaming, so I need to concentrate somehow. Okay, now we also can change the separate dimensions for the light using Alt Shift or Control Shift modifiers. This. Alright. As you can see, our beautiful viewport overlay hiding feature is still active, and it hides all the distractions within the active viewport. It's very convenient. Also, when you, for example, move the light or scale it, it never drops below the floor surface, because it detects the obstacles, not only the floor, and prevent the light from dropping below or inside the objects. Also, when we're rotating the light, it also never drops below the surface, respecting all the corners of the light. Kinda, it steps like dun 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 dun. Okay. Now the light isolation feature is triggered by the I button, not Shift H as it was previously. So hit I and you see the current light in isolation. And what's interesting, that it also hides not only different other lights, but also emissive objects. For example, if you see, the headlights of the car are turned off here. Okay, you can also toggle isolation within the viewport using this light bulb gizmo, and then you can switch isolation to different lights simply by clicking them in the outliner. Very convenient. Okay, what else? For example, let's have a look at our new scrim. Which actually allows for wider range of feathering. Let's actually activate AGX to see it more clearly. Now the feathering slider allows us to control the feathering in much wider range. You see? Now we can get very soft light, which can be very helpful when working with very reflective objects like jewelry or watches or cosmetic jars. It allows us to get that premium look Also, the gradient sliders have wider ranges as well. And we also have this new hidden imperfection slider, which adds imperfection to our scrim, which sometimes can be helpful to eliminate that sterile look in the highly reflective surfaces. Okay, what else? All other light customization features work exactly the same. So we have our HDRIs. We also have gobo mode. The only new thing here is that we now can control the playback speed of the animated gobos using this playback slider. So what else should I mention? Well, actually this update doesn't bring a lot of new features, but the add-on, as I mentioned, was completely rewritten from scratch. And the task was to eliminate bugs and make the core functionality works in the perfect way. So for example, previously when you were using automatic light positioning modes like reflect or direct modes, the light kind of jumped from one face to another, especially when your mesh have fairly large faces. The light movement was kind of discrete, and the light was jumping from one face to another very abruptly. So very often it was necessary to switch to orbiting mode to fine-tune the position. But now even automatic positioning modes like the reflect mode works very smoothly and predictable and allows to position the light very precisely. It also now have this adaptive behavior when, for example, when you moving mouse with a normal speed, it kind of respects the geometry, but it works a little bit more broadly. But when you need to position the light at the exact spot, and this spot is happen to be very small, you can now just slow down the movement of the mouse, and it kind of starts to focus in the light very, very precise. So I tried to achieve this very intuitive behavior, but all of that is hidden under the hood. So hope you'll like how it feels now. Okay, what else? There are different minor tweaks here and there. For example, now when you have your light tracked to the target, I know some folks love to use this tracking. Now you can previously, if you wanted to reposition this tracked light in an interactive way, you need to go to the menu and clear tracking, and then you can start to reposition it with interactive modes. Now if you have your light tracked, you just need to hit tab or something, and it automatically clears tracking and starts positioning the light automatically. Also now the automatic light power adjustments work much more precise. You see, when we're moving the light further, it maintains the perceived luminance very, very precise. The same works for changing the size. So it automatically corrects the power. But if you don't need this, you can always turn it off in the preferences. Okay, this fairly new setting is still there, when you can change how the add-on behaves when you are entering light adjustment mode. For example, if you switch to inactive, now when you're hitting tab, the light won't immediately move to different directions, but you still can change its size, distance, and other parameters like spread, for example. And then if you want to start changing its position, you hit 1, 2 or 3 depending on the mode you chose, and it starts positioning. But it's actually just automatic pausing of the light. Even if you don't use this inactive preference, you always can pause your light by hitting the same mode which you're using right now. For example, now we're using reflect mode, which is number 1. We're hitting number 1 and it paused, but we still can change light properties. I think I've covered everything I need, and yeah, thanks for your attention. Ciao.